It's only 6 minutes late. The stream is now on the stream starting soon sign, so if there's any last minute things you want to do before we start, for me, it's shove a piece of this chocolate in my mouth because I decided to quit smoking this week. So I am inhaling all of my daughter's chocolate. Not all of it. She's 3. She doesn't need that much. That's my excuse. I've had that song stuck in my head all week. Well, all of last week. It's so good. So I'll pull up Twitch on my phone. So I have Twitch going. Typically you usually have the YouTube on, yeah? Okay. Not a big deal. Chat. Yeah, it's literally just stuck on a constant loading screen. Okay, well, ready when you are. Oh gosh damn. Look at that jam. Look at me go. Heavens and hells. Yeah. Alright, ready? 3, 2, 1. Go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, I'm like, hang on. I wanted to make sure things were working first. Nothing had loaded on either of these, and I'm like, hang on.
It's just...
But, alright guys, sorry about that rough false start there, but welcome to the World Forge, where we sit back, relax, and create some fucking shit together, guys. I'm Eric from the Hibernian Tales.
I am Chris from the Chaos Den podcast. And we are the World Forge.
And we are going to dive into heavens and or hells today. We have to pluralize because we are not talking about a singular heaven and a singular hell.
No. We are doing multiple demi-planes within the overplane of it. We also realized that we picked a very fun day to do the heavens and hells because it is Easter Monday, and we hope everybody had a very wonderful and chocolate-filled holiday. I know I most certainly have more chocolate than I know what to do with, thanks to my kid.
Yeah, I don't celebrate Easter with our kids because our kids are 1 and 2, so they don't need chocolate.
Yeah, mine's 3.5, and she found out what the Easter Bunny was and got very excited. So that's now a thing. And you know what? Realistically, she gets all the chocolate for Easter, but who's gonna eat it all? Not her. You know, it's winding up in daddy. You know, it's winding up in daddy's lunch bag. Oh yeah.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I see we've got at least it looks like 2 people in right now. Welcome. We're so happy to have you guys with us tonight.
Happy.
Always happy to have more people listening. But real quick from last time, for those who did miss, we recapped the Grey Wastes, and we built the map of the universe, the cosmos.
The cosmos and the planes, essentially.
Yes, the cosmological extraplane, our map.
Yeah. Which I don't know if we posted that one or not. I know we have
did not post it. Unfortunately, this week I did not have the chance.
Busy.
But yeah, been a busy week.
That's okay.
But Heavens and Hells.
Before we get started on Heavens and Hells, I have to do my regular "What weird drink is Chris drinking tonight?"
That's true. Who are we hashtag not sponsored by?
Once again, we are hashtag not sponsored by All or Nothing Brewery in Oshawa. And tonight I'm doing another one of their flagship full-time beers. It's called their Think Bigger Cream Ales. There's a little snippet of it.
And we all recognize what good old Eric over here is hashtag not sponsored by, and that is the Greek bottle.
Do the do, everybody. And if you can't do it again.
Do the do, Charlie.
No, Charlie. The do's gonna do you.
In Soviet Russia, Mountain Dew you.
Oh, Lordy. That's a good way to start off a night.
It only goes downhill from here, folks.
Well, it can only go uphill from here, I think is what we should say.
Oh shit! I think that's the saying anyway.
We've hit rock bottom. Now we go up. So let's jump into Heavens and Hells. Which one do you want to start with, or do you want to roll a dice to see which we choose? We've got some viewers. Let's see if anybody wants to roll some dice for us. Does anybody want to roll a dice? Positives, we do hell. Chat. Negatives, we do heavens.
How do you roll negatives on dice?
Evens and odds, sorry. I'm sleep deprived, leave me alone.
That's fine, but you gotta...
Yeah.
Looks like it's probably actually just me and you in chat. So we'll just go ahead and we'll go ahead and roll ourselves.
All right.
I've got a D20 over here.
All right, go for it. Evens are heavens, odds are hells.
Evens are heavens, odds are hells. It is a 4.
4. Ooh, key dookie.
Heavens.
We're going for heavens. So let's jump into our heavenscapes. Now, unfortunately, we have some OBS struggles again. We don't have our chat up, and we don't have our notes.
It is recording, right?
We are recording, and I have audio. All that's all good. It's just some of the screen stuff is being funny. There was an update that happened yesterday again, and they were like, "We fix everything."
And broke the rest of it.
Yeah.
So we are starting off with the heavens tonight. Fantastic. I love heavens. Heavens are great places, full of celestial beings of unknown varieties, and we shall see what we concoct for the first of our heavens.
Well, we have 3 of our heavenscapes already kind of selected that we had loosely not touched base on, but made note of, and that was our peace, creation, and nature.
Yes.
Which I do like the idea of there being 3 segments of heaven that are broken out. So even if you think of it as heaven is its own main plane, and then within that there are demi-planes or even sections of heaven. So take, say, like a large city. You would have regions within that city. So Toronto,
are you saying poor people have their own heaven, demi-plane for heaven?
Yeah. But no. I just mean that there are different levels of heaven that you can get to depending on how good you were.
So poor people go to hell. Don't judge poor people, Chris.
That's got
now you're sending them to hell.
Why is it? Where did poor people come from? I didn't talk about poor people. That's
you said districts like the cities, and the cities are segregated into districts based on wealth.
No. I want to say no. But as a person who works in those high-end houses, I definitely have to agree with you. Shit.
Poor people go to heaven too. It's okay.
All dogs go to heaven, okay?
No, they go to the plane of the nature heaven, which is actually, why not start there? Why not start at animal heaven?
Well, it wouldn't necessarily be just animal heaven.
But
it would be. It's your plane of nature, so that would probably, or your demi-plane. a heavenscape of nature, which would probably where your druids would go, people who are worshiping, like any druidic god, anyone who is more in tune with the nature aspect of life. You probably even have some of the dwarves would end up in nature themselves, although they would probably go more so into creation.
It would vary greatly, I'd imagine.
It would. It would depend on the way that you lived your life and how you experienced your life within the Unity plane.
I definitely do agree that druids would probably end up here just flat out. If you were druidic in any capacity, you would absolutely end up here. But I definitely do agree that this would be where everything that in D&D or any other system you have would categorize as a beast, a natural beast of nature, they would all end up in this heaven.
This area, yeah. That I can agree to, because that does make sense. Because just because you're a creature or a beast or a monstrosity doesn't mean that you don't go to heaven or hell.
No.
Everything dies. Everything has a place that it goes to. Which makes sense.
Yeah.
So,
except aberrations.
Well, yeah, they go to the shadow realm. They go to the dark, shadowy place that we don't talk about.
We haven't created where they go yet.
Well, kind of. They would probably go to the shadow plane.
No, because that's for the people trying to avoid death.
Which would be an aberration, no?
Where would Cthulhu go if he died?
But can you
Where would a Mind Flayer go?
Well, a Mind Flayer is Mind Flayer an aberration?
Okay, the Elder Brain.
Still not.
Or an Aboleth.
See, those are still creatures.
Now when
I think of an aberration, I'm thinking of like a ghost or a specter or something that is almost astral.
So those are undead. Those are undead.
Sure.
I'm talking about the creature type. Based off a creature type monster manual version, anything with a tentacle basically is an aberration.
Okay.
So an aboleth is absolutely an aberration. Per the monster manual, huge aberration. No, so large, I'm sorry.
What would be the... So an aberration then, would that not be classified as a creature?
It wouldn't be a beast.
It wouldn't be beast, true.
These are the unintelligent beasts.
Okay.
Or, though, slightly intelligent, but I wouldn't say anything higher than, an intelligence of 8.
Yeah.
Except for druids and other people who essentially dedicated their lives towards maintaining nature's current status quo. So, your National Park Service.
your rangers, your park rangers.
Your zookeepers, your park rangers. They would all go here. We now know where people go when they die. If you're a park ranger, you go to nature heaven.
You go to nature heaven. Well, you go to the heavenscape of nature.
As long as you're ready to die and prepared to die and don't have unfinished business and can get past the sphinxes.
My God, dying sucks in our world.
This world sucks to die.
There's that saying where death is just another adventure waiting to happen. How true that statement truly is in our world.
Right?
Oh, you died? Guess what? It's not the end. There's probably a lot more to do when you die than when you were alive.
At least as much.
At least. Easily.
At least as much.
Okay, so for our nature... Are we going to call it escape? Naturescape? Heavenscape? Demiplane?
Let's call it...
District? It's District 3.
Corellia. Why? Because I just threw a name at it.
I was gonna be very like, that is actually a very good name, but where the hell did that come from? Oh, your brain. Okay.
So here's the way I name things. My naming scheme, and Chris, I'll let you go with yours here in a second, is depending on how deep fantasy I want it to be and not as realistic. Because realistic, we are Oak Haven because we are in a haven of a grove of oak trees and I'm cutting them down to build my houses. That's how modern society names their shit.
Realistic.
Or historic based.
Yeah.
Like Flanders Landing. A guy named Flanders landed a boat here, and then
this is my town.
This is his town, so now they named it after him. There's a lot of that, but if for the elves or for dwarves or those more fantastical names, what I do is I pick a letter I want to start with.
Okay.
Then I follow it up with either another consonant or a vowel. And it doesn't matter what the first letter is. If it's an A, I can still follow it with a vowel. But I just start picking random letters until something starts forming in my head. And usually that's around the first 3 to 4 letters.
Okay, that's kind of the same idea of what I do, more organized than what I do. Literally, depending on what I'm building, it will be, like you said in the very, very original comment, depends on the location and area that I'm working in. I will pull a name derivative from what is surrounding the area. What a group of people living in that area would be like, okay, so this has pines and acorns. So there's going to be some form of tie-in with that. Or, like you said, it's just completely random and out of my ass, and it depends on what my ADHD brain decides to think of that day.
Mm-hmm.
When I create
and then pronunciation is out the window. It doesn't matter how they pronounce it.
No, and usually for a large city or town or continent, like something big, something that's going to have a lot of drive behind it, or is going to have a big impact in the world, I will work on pronunciation of that word for days before I come down to something that I like.
But here's the other part. Even in reality, how do you spell Shrewsbury?
Spell who?
Shrewsbury.
Shrewsbury?
Shrewsbury. Shrewsbury.
I have no idea. I wouldn't even know where to start.
But you start off with the word shrew. S-H-R-E-W.
Okay.
Then you add an S because shrews.
Yeah.
However, you could go B-U-R-Y, B-E-R-R-Y, there's so many different spellings you can end that thing with, and it still be Shrewsbury.
Yeah. Well, depending on how you spell it, could be Shrewsbury, Shrewsboro. Well, no, it wouldn't be Borough.
But it could, even Borough could still be pronounced, could still be called Shrewsbury. Yeah. Because
depending on who you are.
Your accent matters, your inflections on vowels, how many vowels, because if you start blurring those vowels together, baby, watch out for what you want them to be called. Over in Hebridean Tales, we have a city that's spelled P-S-K-E-S-O-L-I. P-E-S-K-E-S-O-L-I.
I'm more impressed that you remembered that.
It's because my players can never spell it right. Because it's not pronounced the way it sounds. It's not pronounced the way it's spelled.
It's spelled, yeah. Which is pretty much half of the English dictionary.
Which it's spelled Pescasoli.
Oh, God, you did that one to me the other... Yeah, no, you're mean. You're a mean GM.
It's actually pronounced Pescoli.
Well, that's how Piscoli is how I'm going to call it.
But it's pronounced Piscoli or Pescoli.
Yeah.
They don't pronounce the middle S.
That's so broken, and I like it because that will mess with players, and it gives your world a more lived-in feel.
Correct. This city's been around for who knows how long enough that it's dropped letters from its name.
The letters have just fallen off the wall, and they just decided to rename their city along the way.
But the name of the city is still the same because that's how everything's already written in the documentation of the city. So they're just
right?
Oh, wait, how's it spelled again? They're even checking their own written history.
Oh, that's dirty.
But it's just one of those where it's like, but that's real.
Yeah. And it makes sense too. Like that would be how a city would be formed and created. Like think of, say, like I live in Ontario. Toronto is our main city. I say Toronto. Other people I know for a fact would say Toronto.
I would.
We don't pronounce half the letters in our cities. Why? Don't know. Do we drink too much? Possibly.
It's too cold to speak that long.
Only 4 months out of the year, okay? Our winters are no different than yours. In all honesty, you guys have gotten it more brutal than we have lately.
We have down into America, yeah. It's been pretty bad. But
let's jump back into
anyway, back to Heathbane.
Yeah, wow, we derailed that.
Our derail was made sense because I just named a Heavenscape. So we were talking naming schemes. It's fine. We're just reeling it back in. It was an acceptable detour down Cherry Tree Lane, where they used to have cherry trees and now they're cut out.
Now they just have bushes of roses. So,
Speaking of cherries, I'm gonna name Peace Cherubim.
Cherubim?
Cherubim.
Oh, cherubim. See, I would have gone with Puribum. Or Paralipia.
Cherubim. Cherub bum. The butt of a cherub.
The butt of a cherub.
Yes.
Okay.
Don't ask how many naked babies are flying around the peace Heavenscape.
Too many, I'm sure.
Apparently, way too many.
Too many. But that means that there's a lot of dead babies, and that just makes me feel sad.
No, that just means that now must be the plane where
babies go.
Dead infants. And that is as far as we are going on that.
Oh yeah, I know. We're not touching that
any further.
Nope. Don't want any trigger warnings.
Yeah, correct. But that is all we're doing because we have to go through with the way we're doing this, we have to go through every possibility.
Touch base on everything.
We did in the gray wastes, so we've touched it and we're moving on.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, back to Torellia.
So in Torellia, we want to have all of our beasts. We want to have all of our natural, creations and entities.
I'm gonna say anything with an intelligence of under 9.
See, I wouldn't even restrict it to that point, because, like, you will have beasts that have the potential of having a higher intelligence than that could go to this plane as well.
Well, the way I'm seeing it is if you have an average intelligence, your intelligence of 10, you're a sentient creature at 10.
Fair, yeah.
The Sphinxes judge you at 10, essentially.
Which means you wouldn't go...
If you are either humanoid or sentient, you have a high enough intelligence.
Yeah.
That's... Because we have the Sphinx as a barrier...
Yeah.
To default to go there, you have to be dumb enough to bypass the Sphinxes.
If you are not smart enough to go to the Sphinx, you get direct pass. So essentially,
barbarians go to Torellia. That's what I just heard, guys.
Some do. So essentially what you're saying is if the creature doesn't have the intelligence high enough to know the difference between good and evil, not good and bad, but like good and evil, it would then strictly bypass that and go straight to Torellia.
Essentially, this plane would essentially be lawful neutral, I imagine.
If that's the way that you're looking to run it, then it would have to be.
And that's only so we have an idea of
what would go here.
Well, not what would go here, because any beast would go here, even if it was a evil beast in life.
Would it though?
Because what's an evil beast? Why are beasts evil? I don't think beasts are evil. I don't think a beast should even have an alignment.
No, a beast wouldn't be evil unless it was corrupted by something that made it do evil things. In which case,
then it's going with its master to hell anyway. Probably to Valhalla.
Probably.
Which is where probably where barbarians really belong. Let's be honest.
Yeah, they fight for blood and glory, and that's because that's what they enjoy doing.
Or fun.
Yeah. How many things can I bash in one day?
Oh, that's one thing we forgot. That's one thing we forgot in the Grey Waste. What if a barbarian attacks the Sphinxes? Straight to Valhalla.
Yeah,
anything that attacks the Sphinx, straight to Valhalla.
If you attack the Sphinx, or if you attack the walls of the City of Scales, like if you attack anything within the City of Scales' proximity, it's just, you're gone. You're done. Like you don't exist anymore. Like I don't even think that you would go to Valhalla. I don't think that you would like have a choice of going anywhere. If you attack the Sphinx, if you attack the City of Scales, well, I think you just blink out of existence.
Let's do this. Anyone who has any idea on it, put it in the comments on wherever you're listening to this, whether it be on YouTube or if you can do comments on Twitch down the road. Yeah, go for it. But
hell, even if you are listening to this after the fact in the Spotify or on a podcasting system, feel free to reach out to us on our socials and let us know what you think about it, because we would love to hear other people's opinions. We're just two minds. We would love to have the minds of many in the creation of this.
Yes, the more minds, the more creative the thing goes. Every single time. Same difference. How do you break things? Let your players start playing.
I mean, yeah. That's one of the best ways to create things too, like especially for worlds, is let your players kind of build it with you. You just don't tell them that you're there building it.
No.
Then it's more fun.
Or you tell them and let them actually have that full reign to do what they want, and you'll just roll with it. There's two philosophies and both are fun.
Yeah, you could do it both ways. I have never done it in that way, in the sense of like, telling your players, okay, you are building the world as we play. I think I might do that for my next campaign.
I am doing that for the next series I'm doing that we're starting eventually. I already know when it is, but I'm not going to reveal too many details because I have not done a full formal announcement out there yet.
But
I'm still working on crafting
you'll hear it here.
Yeah. You'll absolutely hear it here.
Oh yeah. Okay, so let's go back into a little bit of diving into creation for.
Yeah, so for Torellia.
Now, I imagine that once again you're gonna have in a demi-plane like this that is literally like beasts, nature, creature, not so much creatures, but like humanoids, like druids and stuff like that. You would have almost like a main herder, a main leader that would be cultivating and making sure that peace stays within this area. Because if you're having all these beasts come in, you have carnivores and you're gonna have like the variety of species. Some of them are gonna want to eat each other.
Yes.
And that's okay. That is very natural. The one thing that I can kind of associate it to is in the Drizzt Do'Urden books, the R.A. Salvatore, there is the panther, Guinevere, who is from the astral plane. And Guinevere's essentially life cycle that she deals with is a constant hunt, where she's hunting down a gazelle. And it's just a repeated process that happens over and over and over again. So I feel like you would have almost the same aspect that would be happening in this demi-plane of nature in Torellia, where these creatures or beasts would be coming in and they would experience their best style of life, whether it be going on a hunt or simply grazing, or whatever it is that the creatures or the beasts did in their existence. So you would have to have somebody of power at the head of it that would control that and be able to enforce what would be almost like a balance amongst all the beasts.
So let me see.
I guess the real question is, do we want to use a entity that already exists in lore or create our own?
I feel both, I'm sure.
I feel like ideally for something like this, we would want to create our own. We would want to create our own entity, creature, embodiment of power. What's that little brain of yours thinking?
Yep.
I see.
I actually cracked open the DMG for a minute.
Ooh, that's what you're diving into.
Yes, I was reading the Beastlands entry.
Okay.
Which is basically what we're discussing.
Yeah.
But the Beastlands, if I remember, between that and I've only watched it once, but the Mr. Rex video on the Beastlands, because he does a deep dive into the plane. He does a deep dive into all 16 of the outer planes.
Okay.
As well as the 4 inner planes. But so I definitely, Chris, recommend you listen to that at some point if you have the time.
I don't know what time is. Time is irrelevant.
Time is an irrelevant factor invented by humanity to control our every waking minute. That way we could micromanage ourselves and stress about not using our time effectively and efficiently. Congratulations. That's humanity in a nutshell.
Yep. As we sit here doing an 1.5-hour stream about creating a world that doesn't exist.
It doesn't have time yet.
Yeah.
It has a plane of time.
It has a plane of time.
But it does not. There has been no time that's actually passed on the material plane yet.
Because time is wibbly wobbly.
But if I'm not mistaken, the Beastlands is separated into, it's not, quadrants isn't exactly right, but it's broken into sectors.
Yeah.
Like you were just discussing.
Yeah.
A prey, a hunter, or this or that, and every beast gets their perfect idealized life.
Yeah, which would be any style of heaven.
Correct. Hunting, grazing, but anything that does die is not dead. It just comes back and
recycles.
It's fine. Yeah. Ooh. I have an idea here, but and then in the middle is your prehistoric. It's a giant plateau of all your dinosaurs and prehistoric shit.
Okay, so we're land before timing this shit.
Land before time on a giant fucking plateau in the this is the Beastlands. This is the standard 5e Beastlands that I'm describing right now.
Yeah.
Cut, dry, really short. But I like the idea of everything just living their natural life, right?
Yeah.
I don't think we need to separate.
I don't think we need to separate either.
Zones?
Well, yeah, you would have to have different districts. Okay, have you ever watched Zootopia? Nice!
We are dads. It is fine.
100%.
100% dads.
Just click that one. That's great.
That is some fucking dad energy right there.
That is the perfect example of exactly what I was trying to get across, is the idea of the Zootopia, where they have all these animals that live in cohesion with each other, and they have their own regions and districts of different weather anomalies. Depending on what the creature is. Like, you have your snow area, your desert, and your rainforest.
Other thing we could do is make that levels of the plane to separate them even more.
So almost have like discs?
Yeah, like just stacked discs of each plane, and then there's a central column that connects all the discs.
Have you ever watched Sword Art Online?
Yes.
Aincrad.
Yeah.
It's essentially Aincrad, where you have your 100 levels of all your different regions of the world, and then you just have little tubes that connect each one, and you'll have your main floor. I don't want to call it a boss because we're not creating a dungeon or anything like that. But you would have.
I mean, we are, but we're not.
We are, but we're not. It could be a dungeon if you really want it to be, but it would.
Right.
You'd essentially have your one main head honcho, or your oldest dead thing that would be on each plate that would run it.
The gods of nature for the various humanoid-made pantheons.
Yeah. You do it that way.
Each god would just have their own disc. So as the humanoids made a new pantheon, whatever, because a drow pantheon with if there was a drow god of nature, and not just mommy Lolth.
There's more than one drow god.
Yeah, there's the good drow god and the evil drow god. That's it.
I'm gonna sip my drink here and let you continue.
But if there was a nature drow god, then they would have in their realm a lot more of the underground creatures.
They would, yes.
So on their disc, they would control the under disc.
Yeah, it'd be like the underdenizens.
And a culture that grew and evolved in the plains would worship their god, would have dominion over the plains.
Okay.
So that god would live on the plains disc.
So I like this idea strictly for the fact that it's an infinite possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And technically, we don't have to create it.
No. It's already created.
That, once again, comes up to the GM.
Mm-hmm.
The GM, depending on what he has and what stage of the world he is playing in, will have that Pantheon line, and in doing so would be able to essentially do an insert here of, okay, so I have this Pantheon, this god's going to be in my world. Where's his people gonna go? Where's his creatures gonna go? And this would be it. So would you essentially do that for all 6 of them?
For all 6 of what?
Of the scapes?
No, only nature.
Only nature.
Because nature is very much
open source, so realistically.
It's what you see, right?
Yeah.
So the Cherokee Indians lived in mountains and forests.
Okay.
So their god of nature would in our realm, in our reality, would have dominion over the creatures of so mountain lions, rams,
okay, bobcats,
owls, hawks, bobcats, I said mountain lions, badgers, squirrels, armadillos. Anything that you could find in Cherokee country
would be on that.
Would
scape.
be in that level of the plains.
Okay, I like that. I like that idea for that section of the nature demi plane. I think that would be a good way of running that.
And I'm trying to get the words here, so give me just a second.
Yeah, that's a hard one to word out.
It is. It's got infinite discs. Each
Correct.
nature god has dominion and rulership over the creatures of their worshippers' territory.
Yes.
That is as simple as I think I can
kind of
initially make that. I don't think I can make it. I don't want to make it too wordy because that's a lot of typing for live right now.
Yeah, like we can always go back and edit it after the fact. As long as we have the just idea of what we want it to be and how we want it to be kind of hashed out is good for us. But yeah, infinite discs, each god of nature has dominion and rulership over the creatures of their worshippers' territory. Yeah, well, that's pretty solid.
Druids and clerics of nature serve the gods on the appropriate disc.
Yeah. Yeah, because when they die, they would essentially go there as shepherds.
Now, I'm not including paladins because how the paladin lives his life and answers the questions is going to matter.
That's going to be very different. Because the paladin may even go to the, he might.
They may go to hell if they're a conquest paladin of nature.
It might be an oathbreaker.
Right? You never know. Right? You don't know how they live their life, and I'm not going to judge them. I let the Sphinxes do that. Jorge and Andreas, they're going to judge.
Oh, is that what we called them, Jorge and Andreas?
I just said it, so it must be canon now.
You said it live, man. I really thought we were going to go with Philip and Bob.
No. I just named them.
Okay, fine. We'll go with Jorge and Bob. Bob's the one who doesn't talk.
Silent Bob, Jay and Silent Bob.
It writes itself. What can I say?
I mean, you know, Bob the Silent. Each culture is going to have their own names for the Guardians of the Gate.
Yeah, they will.
Really and truly. And then the Infinite Wanderer on the Grey Waste is Steve.
Yeah, we've already established that. His name is Steve. And then Johnny Walker is the oddball wizard that just lives in the tavern on the plane of fate and time. He's just there forever. That's just his place.
He is the Wanderer of the Wastes.
Not Johnny Walker.
No.
Steve.
I'm typing Steve.
Oh, you're actually typing in Steve?
Steve is the Infinite Wanderer of the Wastes. I just put it in the notes. It's official.
That makes me happy. I don't know why that makes me so happy, but it does.
Steve was abandoned by his cleric friends. It's fine. By his cleric friend. It's fine.
He was. Poor Steve. They didn't want to waste the 300 gold diamond on him.
I mean, Steve hoarded gold in his life and was deemed an asshole. We went over this. There's a reel about it. There's a short about it.
There is a short about it. It was great. I loved it. It was so funny.
It was great. It was so funny. All right. So, druids and clerics of nature, of the nature gods, serve the gods on the appropriate disc that the god resides on.
Correct. Yeah. Now, I assume that those gods will reside on those discs?
Yes.
Okay. That would make sense.
Gods reside and have dominion over an assigned disc relative to their worshiper terrain.
I don't even think you'd need to really add that in
on
because we already know
Unity.
that the discs are infinite.
I did it for our notes.
It makes sense. Yeah.
It just makes sure that we keep consistent with future gods that we do create.
This is true because we are going to have a god night.
My guess is we're going to have a month and a half of god nights.
It's four god nights?
6. I said a month and a half.
Oh, you know what? For that, we'll have to bring in a guest and just have a guest help us with gods.
We're going to bring in panels and just co-create with like 5 people on this thing. And just
like, all right, we're hashing out gods today, boys and girls and whoever else decides to join us. We accept all people.
Oh, yeah. We accept and love everybody.
Even if you...
By the way, this is delayed, but happy Trans Day for yesterday. Trans Visibility Day was yesterday.
Oh, well, then yes,
it was
900%.
all over Threads. It was all over Threads and all over my feed, all over the place.
I was not on social media all weekend. I wasn't on social media all weekend. I was off with family.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah. But definitely
I was working.
Of trans. Yeah, I work Mondays to Fridays for Saturdays.
But
and Sundays. Okay.
Yeah, so after nature, because nature, I feel like we're done.
That's
Nature's super simple.
Like that's real easy. That's real simple. That's really simplistic to follow. Anything more would overcomplicate it and make it too grimy.
It would be too much. We don't need as much detail for nature because nature runs itself.
Yeah. There's not, like, you don't need to mess with it. Now, when you get into, well, a lot of the heavens, you don't really need to have too much behind it because they are very self-sufficient with the way that they function. Like, they are very lawful. They're very...
It's going to depend on how we build it.
True.
It's really going to depend.
The Grey Waste is a perfect example.
That wasn't even a heaven.
That's my point, is the fact that it wasn't even a heaven, and it went into that realm of craziness. Okay, so do we want to... Oh, lordy.
So,
okay. Peace or creation?
Peace or creation. You roll this time.
All right.
Highs we're going to creation, lows we're going to peace.
All right, guess what? We're rolling this.
Oh, you're rolling the big fat D100, actual D100. Got it.
And
roll that orb.
She even glows in the dark, too.
Oh, roll that orb. Not in the dark, though. We need to see you.
Just flick off my lights. That's a 95.
We are going to creation, baby.
Let's do it.
All right. We are at the halfway marker. So before we jump into creation, Chris, go ahead and do a shout out for for some kind of small creator for you.
I don't actually have any on hand because, like I said, I've been off with family and off the socials.
Okay.
I actually can't think of anybody off the top of my head. Nobody has reached out to me lately. So currently, I will actually shout out my brother's work that he's been working on. He has, I believe it's a 130-page source book with, I think it's between 20 or 40 homebrewed monsters and races that you can play in your D&D 5e campaign. Easily slottable in. I believe it's called The Tales of Valeria. You can find the book on Amazon. And yeah, go support a very small content creator. Again, that's my brother. He also plays in the Shattered Memories as Waddles, the duck. So if you want to hear how he is as a player, check out my podcast. You can also do that. But that's me for today.
Fantastic. I have one here. I'm pulling it up because they are actually, I think they're, according to what I'm seeing on their website, their Kickstarter just launched, if I'm not mistaken. So I am going to look them up on Kickstarter real quick and verify that they actually did launch when they had planned to. But
who are they?
The Legends of Athelu.
Can't say I heard that.
They did not launch on time, so they are still forthcoming. But the Legends of Athelu is actually a live play D&D, but they also do some content creation as well. And they've got a new thing coming out called the Avatar of Aramil. It was supposed to launch today, I think, but I think there's still work. It's still listed as coming soon.
So are these source books? Are these campaign books?
As far as I know, they're adventure books.
Okay.
But I believe they actually are a live play as well. I'm looking to double check, but you can check them out over at athelu.com, ATHELU.com.
Okay.
They do have a Patreon as well, where they do some updates and some play testing and stuff like that. But beyond that, I thought they were... Yeah, they offer behind-the-scenes details, so they've got to be some kind of a podcast.
Yeah.
We will find their full proper link and get that posted on this...
on the stream.
On the stream here. But yeah, they are a show and content creator that is trying to get stuff rolling.
And as well, if any of our listeners, viewers, if you're a small content creator and you would like to get a little bit of a shout out on the show, feel free to drop us a DM. Let us know who you are, what you are, and we would love to give you a little shout out and share your story and share your content to whoever decides to listen to us.
And our hashtag not sponsored self.
Yeah. We definitely don't sponsor ourselves at all, ever. Not at all.
No.
But jumping back into our, because we got about 30 minutes left of the show. The Dwarven Heaven.
Let's be real.
It's going to be the dwarves and the gnomes.
It's the dwarves, the gnomes, the artificers,
the tinkerers.
All them bitches go to the plane of to the creation heaven. Chris, I'm gonna give you the joy of naming this one.
Oh, don't give me the joy of naming. I'm so brain dead today. When you come down to creation to me makes me think of earth and metals. So the first thing that makes me come to mind is alloys.
Okay.
So in a creation of alloy,
you know what? Let's be more basic.
I got it. Etolium.
Go for it. Etolium? Spell it.
Etoliam.
Etolium. Creation to the dwarves, and to the dwarves, let's call it the forge.
Yeah, essentially it would be the forge to dwarves.
The world forge, you know. Hashtag we live in.
Jeez, we live. Oh, are we actually dead and we just don't know it?
Probably.
I mean,
not even low key. We're high key dead.
We're high key dead. Oh, we're high key dead.
roll a blunt.
Smoke it down the stream. Merrily. Where
the fuck the horse go? Where'd the horse fucking go? I don't know, man.
Oh, I just finished watching Pirates the other day. So good. Sorry. That was just nice. That was a
all right, so heading over to the forge.
Okay, so the forge is, again, I think will be a single, instead of the multi-tier like we said with nature, it's going to be more of a singular plateau. Well, not plateau, but singular area. Let's go with that. Singular plane. It would essentially be a city. Like, you would have a city and you would have an area for these tinkerers, these creators, to have a place to continue creating. And in my mind, the way that I see a heavenscape for creation, whether it be creation of life or creation of material, because that is very two different styles of creation. Like being able to create life, like birth, or creating matter out of nothing, or being able to forge something like the dwarves would. You would want to give them the capacity and the capabilities to do that. So therefore, the dwarves would look at it, and the reason that they call it the forge or the great forge or something along those lines is probably because they would have the greatest and best forge to essentially make weapons for the celestial beings. Celestial beings are constantly going to war with the devils and the fiends. What better way to have celestial weapons than to have master crafters constantly making them?
Real quick then, do we want to have the celestial forge have a god that lives there that is either Moradin or Hephaestus in nature, or a combination therein?
I would say a combination, 100%.
All right.
Because that would be essentially the god that would reside over the plane of creation, the demi-plane of creation, the hellscape, the heavenscape, sorry.
This is only the forge itself. This is over the forge.
Yeah,
not the whole not the whole city. This is the forge itself, the entity that uses it.
So,
not uses it.
If I may. Essentially, it would be the entity that is bestowing the celestial capabilities and powers behind the forge to allow the weapons that are made there to be celestial in nature.
Yes.
So in that sense, I wouldn't say that it would be a... Okay, do you want to go dark here for a second?
Let's go dark. I like dark.
It's fallen angels. They're using fallen angels, and they're using their power source to put into weapons. So you are now making essentially sentient celestial weapons. And occasionally, one of them just so happens to make its way down to the Unity plane. That puts a fun twist. That puts a fun twist on how the weapons are created.
The few sentient weapons are even existed too.
Right?
Yeah. So here's what I've got typed in. The Celestial Forge is in this city.
Yeah.
Is a section of the city.
Section of yeah.
It's powered by and is allowed the celestial capabilities by Hephaestus Moradin like god.
Yeah, a god of creation, essentially.
Not just creation, but that is only known for creating life and because Moradin is the god of dwarven gods. He is the god that created and put the souls into every dwarf.
Moradin is essentially the Allfather.
He is Odin, the Allfather.
Yeah.
He put all of the souls into the dwarves in the first place.
Yeah.
So he already is showing. That's why I said Moradin combo in with Hephaestus, because Hephaestus is the best smith on the fucking cosmos as well.
In all the cosmos.
So when you take Hephaestus and combine him with Moradin as one deity at this point.
Essentially, yeah. And that would be the goal.
Yeah, but the fallen angels, the angels that have died.
Or who have turned?
I'm going to say dead, because some fallen angels become like Cambions or succubi or other devils.
Yeah, that's true. Or fiends. Well, no, not fiends. Devils.
Correct. Not the demons.
Not demons.
They pass the smash test. You will smash a devil. You will not smash a demon.
You know what? It is now my duty and obligation to find a demon I would smash.
I mean, good luck.
I'm gonna try. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna look it up.
So it uses dead angels.
Okay, dead angels. That makes it a little less macabre.
It's still macabre because
it makes it less macabre than what I was thinking. I was thinking that essentially that angels were betraying the heavens, and then they would get imprisoned and then brought here and slaughtered and put into weapons.
I wouldn't have even slaughtered them. I would just shove them in if they were captured alive. Just whoop.
What? There you go. You're now scimitar.
Right?
And they start smashing their head in with a big hammer.
But dead angels are used as the fuel, and because we've got that eternal battle on the gray wastes.
Yeah, we do.
So every dead angel gets brought to the forge and used to create a new weapon.
Makes sense. Weapon or armor.
Or armors, right?
Yeah.
But the souls of these angels are then infused into these weapons.
To make them the celestial powerhouses that they would be.
To make them essentially call it a +4 weapon. To make them artifacts. To make them high-powered god tier weapons.
Yeah.
Conceivably even potentially able to kill a god if necessary.
I think if
This is the only place that can create it.
Yes, that's what I would definitely go with, is that this is the only place that you can create celestial weapons. And this would also be the only place that you would be able to, like, if you somehow managed to get the heart of a god and you brought it here and you forged a weapon with it, I think you would bypass an artifact level weapon.
Oh, absolutely.
Like skyrocket through the moon. Like, you would take this thing, and if you hit anybody with it, it would just be boom. So that would be interesting. But
celestial weapons, real quick, while we're talking celestial weapons can hurt a god.
Yes, they can.
So we need to make that very clear. Anything that comes out of this forge can do damage to a god.
Yeah.
Because that's one thing that is a problem in the D&D standard verse.
Not many things can touch gods. I like
gods, because the stat block of a god says they are immune to basically all damage.
Yeah.
So let's make it so that these bypass resistances of all types.
Yeah.
It bypasses resistances and immunities, dropping everything down by a tier. Resistances become a nothing.
Immunities become resistance.
And immunity become resistance, so it can damage them. It's still doing it slowly, but
you can do it.
You're eventually going to deal the 700 or 1,000 points of damage.
If you keep going at them, yeah.
It's like using a non-silvered weapon against a werewolf. Eventually you'll kill it.
You can do it. It's probably going to eat your face before you get the chance to finish it up.
Correct. And that's the difference.
Yeah.
So celestial and god tier weapons are now created, so they are now things.
They exist. Oh god, they exist. What have we done?
God weapons created by the heart of a god, bypass all immunities.
Yeah, no. If you manage to make a weapon out of the heart of a god, immediately that weapon can kill a god the same way that a normal dagger would kill a normal human being.
Yeah, roll decently and you'll be fine.
Yeah, like it would essentially nullify any bonuses, any resistances, immunities, any extra armor or capabilities that a god would have. This just nerfs it.
Correct.
That's terrifying and I love it.
I want one.
Right?
But I can see this being this is the goal of someone of doing the plane shift. Why are people going to plane shift here?
To get a freaking legendary god tier weapon.
Right? This is beyond legendary.
Yeah.
These ones are
tier. These are god tier. Like that's what they are.
Whenever a god dies, we can even write in here that anytime a god actually dies, the Hephaestus Moradin guy is the one who goes and collects that heart and immediately forges something out of it.
He may not
for another god.
He may not immediately forge it. He may
save it.
I would say he would save it. So there's possibilities that on this god's person, he has a bag, almost like a bag of holding, but it's more like a bag of god souls that he just holds onto. And when a god requests a weapon to be made for them, he can do it. But he decides who gets these god tier weapons. So essentially, this is like not just the god of creation. This is the god of like armory.
I'm calling him the Forge Lord.
Yes.
And I figured out his name. Marastus.
I like it.
Moradin and Hephaestus. Marastus.
I like it. I like it a lot.
Let's go old school linguistics like we just talked about earlier.
Just together.
Smash them together and
mash them together.
That's how you get Westport. Not Westport, Westport. Westport. Westport.
I accept. Sounds like a plan. Okay. So, mouse, stop turning off.
Now, I'm putting in here that he has all the dead hearts he was able to collect, which means there may even be a few out there.
There may be some that got collected before he made it to
the Hells have.
Or a wizard.
Or someone has, but they don't know what to do with it.
Well, see, the back of my brain is just picturing that Johnny Walker. That's how he had the power to plane shift to time and fate.
From material?
From Unity.
He had to use like three level 7 spells. It's not fucking easy to use in a day.
So he has a god tier heart in a bag of holding in his pocket that he just opens up once in a while and sniffs it, and it just gives him magical capabilities.
He pulls out I can see him right now, pulling out the heart, scraping it into his drink, drinks the drink, and then he's like, whoa, his eyes grow radiant white, and he just, whoa.
But then it turns out that he ended up in the plane of time and fate, which has a magic barrier, which negates him from casting any magic.
Yeah, because even gods lose their power when they go there. So god heart is just a crystallized heart he has.
It's just a crystallized heart. It has no magic.
I love this. This is like the best sauce right here.
I love how we've started making 2 characters already. Like technically 4, but
we've got the bartender, we've got Marastus, the Forge Lord, we've got Johnny Walker, and we've got Steve.
Well, I just mean we have 2 mundane NPCs.
Oh, standard people.
People.
We've got
Steve and Johnny
Walker. Yeah.
They have no reason to exist right now. But they're in there, and they exist, and they're gonna have so much lore behind them. I'm gonna have to make a book just for them. Like, you're gonna make a book for Steve, I'm gonna make a book for Johnny, and we're just gonna have a backstory.
Correct. That's exactly how that's gotta roll.
And then whenever we get to be players in other people's campaigns, we have characters to play as.
Yes. It's gonna be so much fun.
Oh God. Us as players would be so tormenting to the other GM.
Yeah.
We'll get there one day.
Yeah.
I mean,
I'm already starting.
I did it to you, so it was fun.
I mean, I played with Stronghold D&D at the end of last year, did a one-shot with them, and I've got a couple more coming up, but those are unrecorded just for fun.
Nice.
But yeah, so I love this place already.
Yeah, this is gonna be fun.
I love Atolium. Atolium is so much fun.
And like we've only made the forge.
We've only built the forge.
We've only made the forge. That's just the forge. That's not even the rest of the city.
No. The rest of the city, as far as I have right now, the only note I have in for the rest of the city is the entire plane is one large city.
Yeah.
But it's filled with creative shops and studios.
Yeah, like little artistic
workshops.
Spaces. Yeah, workshops. Mm-hmm. Gnomes, tinkerers, dwarves. I wouldn't even be surprised if you had some form of Duragar in there as well.
But they're not called podcasts on this plane. They're called godcasts.
Godcasts?
Godcasts.
I'm pretty sure they'd be called planecasts.
That's too long.
Ethralcasts? Astralcast.
Asscasts?
Asscasts? See, that just makes me think that you have a bunch of goblins in a trench coat farting into a mic.
Don't tempt them.
They'll do it. They'll do it.
Don't fucking tempt them. They will fucking do it.
Fucking
all day long.
And they'll be so happy with it too.
Fucking little monkey bastards.
Are you actually calling it asscasts?
I have it in the notes, man.
No.
Asscasts equal podcasts.
Okay. So we have... I can't. We're back to gravelmetric dragons. We're just starting going back to the same bullshit.
There's no reason why not to.
I'm not sad about it. I'm okay with it. I don't know why, but I am.
Me too.
Oh,
I'm okay
God.
with this. This is okay.
There's got to be stupid. There's always got to be stupid. If there's not stupid, then you're not having enough fun. Okay, so we have Atolium. So, in regards to this, the main city that we would be focusing on within Atolium, do we want to have another deity that is running that? So we'd actually, in this case, probably have two deities within the one demiplane.
So let's do this. All creation gods have a
almost like a district.
Have a district.
Yeah. And I don't feel like these would be.
It'd be based on art, science, your different classifications of what creation is, art, metallurgy.
But would these be gods or would they be demigods?
It would be based on the belief within
the following,
the followers, right?
Okay.
All creation. I'm putting the word gods, but right now gods only implies entities worshipped by followers on the Unity plane.
Okay, that's fair. Yeah, it would have to be on, from the plane of Unity. Creation.
Based on what their creationism is. Art, metallurgy. Give me some other examples real quick.
Woodworking.
Woodwork.
We'd even have glass
chemistry,
etc.
I only needed a couple to give us an idea of what we're talking about when we reference the document later.
Yeah, small example, large overview.
So anything that someone would create is
part of this.
Listed, has their own district. So if you are a lizard folk god of woodworking, you would be over in the woodworking district with your own followers.
Yeah, your own little segregated temple almost.
But a lizard folk who was an artist would not be over there. They'd be over in the art domain, but there is no god of art for lizard folk.
So he would just be following whichever god that
he'd be over there with whatever gods were art gods.
So it doesn't come down to what your race is. It just comes down to who you worshipped in your existence.
What you worshipped. What you created, what you did, what you tangibly did in life. Were you an artist? Were you a podcaster? Were you...
Now,
what did you create?
I have one hiccup with that.
Okay.
It's one thing to create something and be like, okay, I am a creator. But if you are not... How do I word this? You would have to essentially be an extreme devotee to that craft in order to make it to this plane. Yes?
The Sphinxes would have to judge that you were, and they have the ability to see your whole life.
That's true.
So even if you weren't like devoted, but you always dabbled in art, and that was the one place they saw you fit.
Yeah, because I guess the thing that my mind forgot was the Sphinxes themselves would kind of sit there and take all of the planes together and be like, okay, you fit this one the best. This is where you're going. So it's not so much you as an individual who gets to choose, I get to go to this plane. The Sphinx goes, no, you go here.
The only way you might is if, like the Sorting Hat for Harry Potter, if you were equally suited for two, the Sphinxes might give you a choice. But the odds of that happening are astro-fucking-nomical in the cosmic scale. They've probably had to do it twice.
If that. Because even at that point in time, you have one Sphinx that's reading your mind and your soul, and the other one that's asking you a question. So it would only take one wrong answer to be like, oh, no, okay, you go that way.
Mm-hmm.
Because they would ask you...
One's giving you a Myers-Briggs test, the other one is reading your brain.
Right? They could even so much be like, okay, so do you like wood or do you like water? You have to pick one.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, oh, I like wood. Okay, you're a woodworker. Off you go. Oh, you like water? Okay, we're going to send you off to go, you know, play in the puddles.
Yeah, but there are people out there who score evenly on a Myers-Briggs. They score evenly on.
They would. But that's why we have the Sphinx who asks you the questions.
Correct.
They would give you a yes or no. No maybes. It's either left or right. You have to pick a direction.
Correct.
So therefore it would come down to you, but you wouldn't know that that's your destination that you're picking.
Correct.
It's whatever in your heart, in your mind,
If there were normally 16 questions and you got asked the 17th, you would never know.
You would never know unless you've done the test before.
And even then, they could sometimes the Sphinx may realize after 4 you fail.
Yeah, they could kick you out at 2. They could kick you out at 2. Be like, no, you're done. Get out.
Or 1.
Oh yeah, can you imagine you just walk up, they don't even ask you a question. The one that's reading your soul just goes, nah.
And you just go straight back to the material plane of the coast.
Gone. You're back. You're like, fuck.
Fuck me.
Not even a question.
Now I get to be like Chuckles from the fucking Legends of Evantris and just, well, why did the mermaid get rid of her seashells? Because she grew into bee shells.
No.
Like.
But that answers. I essentially answered my own fucking question.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. See, that's good. That means that we have created a good system.
Yes, if our answers are already written down.
We're answering our own answers with things that we've already talked about and discussed and written. We are doing a good job. Proper.
As far as so far. So far with the Cosmos.
Yeah, we'll see how it gets when we go a little farther.
Right? Jeez.
Well,
wait till we get to hell.
We still have one plane or one demi-plane left to get into in heaven, which we are probably gonna have to wait until our next episode, which is okay, because that is going to be the... Where are we going into for that one? That will be our piece. Cherubim.
Yep. Cherubim.
That'll be Cherubim. So we will start with Cherubim next Monday and see what piece is going to pull in for us. That one's going to be probably...
That's the hard one.
That is going to be the hard one. That's going to be the hardest one out of all 3 of these. Because that... I'm happy I have a week to think about it.
Right? Because now we have to sit there and imagine what peace would be like.
And what peace, not so much what peace would be like, what does it actually mean?
And how does it function?
How is it, like, what's the tangibility of peace? What causes peace? What is the idea?
And what's the definition?
Yeah.
What's the definition of peace in the cosmos? On the cosmological scale, what is peace? Are we talking traditional heaven? Are we talking what are we talking about? We don't know.
We don't know.
We've only established one thing, and we've already agreed between us. We are not going there, and we are not continuing anything beyond that. But if you paid attention to the stream so far, you already know what I'm referring to. And congratulations, you earned yourself a fucking cookie and a Mountain Dew.
And an all-or-nothing beer.
That costs import tax. Unless you're Canadian.
Unless you're living in Toronto. Even then, it's still a ship out.
Import. I said import.
Import. Okay, yeah.
Import is living in Canada.
I mean,
Gets rid of the import taxes.
I will mail somebody an all or nothing beer if I really have to.
I mean, there you go. If you also want an all or nothing beer, please reach out to Chris. He will happily take care of you and hook you up over at the Chaos Den podcast.
Cannot guarantee it will be consumable by the time it gets to you.
That's true.
But you'll get a fancy can.
Anyway, check out our shows. If you want to hear some about the worlds we're referencing, please check out our different shows. The Hebridean Tales and the Chaos Den. And we will definitely look forward to seeing you guys all next time.
Yeah, we will.
Ciao.